The cinema was built in 1926 as an opera house, and when we say an opera house, I think it was just for the local operatic society, Bridport Operatic Society, which was presumably quite big at the time. It ran just as an opera house for a couple of years before they turned it into a cinema, because obviously it wasn't viable just as an opera house, and cinema became very big in the 1920s, so cinema then took over and it ran as a cinema.
You'd queue up downstairs, out onto the pavement, and wait to get your ticket from the little old lady, you know, and it would be your dad and my brother, and we'd come up and watch a Saturday afternoon film, and that's my first memories of the Palace. You know, it was packed full of kids and parents, and it was wonderful. And then it shut for years. You just saw these gates across the whole time, and it was just completely disused. It had come up for sale at auction, and I just got this phone call from Dad saying, you know, that he just bought the Palace at auction. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And what to do with it now?
Compared to a multiplex, which is just black and performs the function of showing films, this is much more interesting. The murals themselves are in fact panels, and they open the windows, you see, so we can let light in if we want to do things in the daytime. Rather clever, rather good idea.
It really has been quite incredible how successful it's been, how quickly everyone got used to the idea that it's no longer just a cinema or it's an entertainment venue. And with the comedy, for instance, the people that we've had down for the comedy, like Lee Mack and Russell Howard and Reginald D. Hunter, you know, massive comedy stars that have come to Bridport to come and play to people in Bridport. And I think that people in the town can't really believe that these people come to Bridport to put on these nights, and they are fantastic. And some of the comedians that come down here, they've just said that they've been some of the nicest gigs.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Richard Herring.
Hello Bridport, great to be here. So I do have to say I am my own worst critic, though my self-criticism is mediocre at best. And lovely to see some ladies in tonight. It's always terrific when the ladies feel they can come out and see the comedy with the men. You're most welcome, girls. Don't worry, I'm not one of these sexist, women-hating comedians. I despise all that kind of stuff. I love women. I've actually got a friend who's a woman, so I can't be sexist. I strongly believe that women should be treated as if they're equal. That is, it's a cradle I live my life by, so don't worry, sweetheart, it's going to be fine tonight. So, but I met Love Resistance very early on. I hadn't expected this show to be as controversial as it's turned out to be. Even before I'd grown the moustache, I was talking to my Jewish friend Dan about the idea. He said, you're right, the moustache shouldn't have the associations that it has. But the thing is, it does have those associations. You can't change it, and it's offensive to try. Don't know what he's got against Hitler, but other people were egging me on, going, yeah, you should get your hair cut like Hitler as well. I was going, look, I'm not trying to be Hitler. So someone had a crack at that. It didn't work out too well for everyone. Other people say you should dress up in an SS uniform, kind of goose step around outside the synagogue. I said, look, I'm not trying to upset people. Someone genuinely said I should go to Auschwitz with this moustache to gauge the reaction. I said, look, I'm not trying to offend anyone. It's just fascinating to me that this moustache is on the face of arguably the funniest man of the 20th century and arguably the most evil man of the 20th century, the same moustache. I'm not talking about Blakey from On the Buses and Mr. Bronson from Grange Hill. Hitler and Chaplin. Chaplin and Hitler, they both had this moustache. How can it be funny on one face and evil on another? Is this the point where comedy and evil meet? Is it the subtle knife between those two universes? Might I slip either way with this on my face? What if Hitler and Chaplin had ever kissed? Would the universe have been destroyed by that dichotomy? Or would they have just stuck together like Velcro? It's very hard to know.
Now, because of the amount of acts we've had, we can sit back a little bit and be a bit more picky about, right, what do we want, how do we want this to spread, make sure we've got good comedy, good rock music, some good DJs, some theatre, make sure we've got a nice broad spread and something for everyone.
We're playing Glastonbury as well, so, but not quite theatre style-y, but it just shows that we're quite capable of doing, you know, playing the big festivals as well as the small places. But I think all in all, we prefer playing to the smaller places, mainly because you're so close to your audience. I mean, the person in front of you is right here, you know, and you can see their face. And people talk to you in between the tunes and stuff, and that's great as well, you know. People start realising you're not just this pop star, there's no, you know, you're actually a normal person. That's important. I think tonight's going to be a great night because walking around this place to start off with, obviously you feel different atmospheres when you go to different places. It's so old, it's 1920s. It's still got all the original features in there and everything. They took the seats out especially for us because we're a dance band. But I think because the show's sold out, I think it's just going to be a raucous night, if I can put it that way, in a positive way. I think it's going to be a bombastic night, really, really. I mean, my heart is dying to go.
Mirror in the bathroom, please stop free. The door is locked, just you and me. Mirror, mirror, mirror. It's around the sky glass table, so you can watch yourself while you are waiting. Mirror, mirror. Mirror in the bathroom, I just can't stop it. If it's Saturday, you see me window shopping. Mirror, mirror, mirror. Riches in the racks and shelves, just the dice and reflections of my own sweet self, 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 self. Mirror in the bathroom, sing along, your mom. Come on, your mom. Loud, loud, loud. Mirror, mirror, mirror.
We need more theatres, basically. They've all been closed down and turned into offices or apartments. So I believe this one here was going to be turned into apartments, and a family bought it, and they've turned it back into a, you know, a concert, as well as they have plays here as well. Again, for the community, and this is one of the things that has been missing, I think, certainly in England, is, you know, you talk about all these things, they bring about community, which is very important. We lost that in the 80s and the 90s, and I can see it coming back through things like theatre.